But let me just skip to another story here on WWE, Les, because it's something that you have brought up a number of times in the last month or two with respect to ticket prices and WrestleMania 42. We've discussed some of it on, some of it off the air. Was looking for ticket updates the last couple of weeks off the air for you. And apparently, the ticket sales have not gone unnoticed by the folks at TKO, who apparently had one of those all hands on deck kind of Zoom meetings with every department, trying to figure out why they are 10,000 tickets per night behind the pace they were at this time last year, which isn't to say the building's going to be empty or anything. I mean, they do have like about 36,000 sold for both nights at this point. And you would think that by the time they ramp up CM Punk and Roman Reigns pretty good, that will do some help and generate some extra business. But I'm not really sure why they are surprised, because this is something you and I have both been highlighting, but more you than me over the last couple of months with respect to these ticket prices. And I'm a little surprised at those prices coming back to the same place for the second year in a row that they appear to be puzzled as to why they're not selling at the same pace.
Yeah. And of course, not knowing what the ticket prices were last year, how big a difference, let's say, for one ringside seat front row with what, $8,000 with a two-show most, if you get both nights, there's a package deal, right? What do you say, $10 or some damn thing? I don't know. But let's say you wanted both nights. It can't be 16 grand, can it?
I think it probably could be. We had it once upon a time. I should probably go see if I can dig it up, because there was a lot of talk about it when they went on sale this year, with people posting the emails they received from WWE about the prices. Remember, there's that video last year of Randy Orton apologizing to a family that told him how much they spent.
They spent like 30 grand too.
Something. And his face just he blanched. He could not believe the number they quoted him, which is why his initial reaction was to apologize to them for the amount of money they spent.
Sure. Yeah, you may not have to apologize as much this year, right?
Well, here's the thing. One of the first things that Mr. Shapiro of TKO Group talked about when we were going through that period there where WWE was selling out left and right in 2 minutes, he said publicly on an investors call that he told Paul Levesque that means the ticket prices are too low. And, we'll find out when the ticket prices are too high because they'll stop selling. Well, I believe, at least for this event, that moment has arrived.
You found out, right? The check's in the mail or something like that. Yeah.
But, this is also the thing we discussed last year. Why we thought AEW lucked into, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but lucked into having to move to All In Texas as opposed to going a third straight year at Wembley Stadium. They're going back this year. We'll talk about that. But a year away hopefully refreshes the market. But here they are, not just having the biggest show of the year at these prices, but coming back to the same building 2 years in a row. And they're wondering why they're having trouble selling tickets. Well, AEW still had a terrific house last year, but they couldn't sell at the same clip. And now WWE is seeing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, we've talked about it off the camera, but we've talked about it on the air as well. And the bottom line here is professional wrestling in my lifetime, up until just this past year, or the past couple of years, I guess you might say, has been more of a blue collar magnet, right? I mean, I was sitting here, as you were going over that, I was sitting here thinking too, that let's say 15 years ago, which is not all that long ago when you get right down to it, that if you lived in Cincinnati, you might not be able to afford a ticket to the Reds games down on the first baseline where my dad and I used to sit because we loved Ted Kluszewski, right? Same. Well, of course, there is no pro basketball there now, but a football ticket is, like you're going to sell your firstborn and 2 cars, to get a decent 50-yard line seat, right? And the one thing that you, as a factory worker or as whatever, at a blue collar job, you could still go see WWE, right? Because it's only like 25, 30, 40 bucks, maybe 50, 60 bucks, but you gotta, you got in, you could afford it. But that's not the case when ticket price. The cheap ticket price is what for Vegas? A couple grand, isn't it, or something?
It has to be. Now that you said that, you just remember, I'm going to look them up, WrestleMania ticket prices, and I'll tell you. But it's one thing when you're in the last row of the last section at Madison Square Garden, because even there, it's still a pretty good view. But when you're talking about the last row of a stadium for the prices they are asking people to
Yeah.
pay, I mean, it's crazy.
And
So
even with an expensive pair of binoculars, they're still going to look like ants running around down there, right?
yeah, I don't have the non-bundled tickets starting around anywhere between $250 and $300 a ticket for upper level seats.
That's the nosebleed, right? That's as far
Yeah, as
without
far
getting
up.
outside the stadium. That's as high as you can get without falling.
Yes, you can spend $300 and have the privilege of watching it on the Tron, like you could have watched it on TV at home.
And at home, you probably got a 6-pack of Cokes for $6, right? And yeah, well, and that's the deal too. Yeah, you're going to have concessions. You're going to buy merchandise. You're going to spend money. Well, like the gentleman you're talking about that Randy ran into in the airport last year, spent 30 grand. It wasn't just tickets. He had a hotel. He had to feed his family. The kids got some souvenirs. I mean, you don't go to an event like this without going home, at least with a damn T-shirt, right? I mean, that's just standard issue, basically. So, yeah, I'd say I feel sorry for him, but their tax are going to look a hell of a lot stronger than mine come April the 15th. I can tell you that. They're not feeling sorry for me, so the hell with it.
No, be clear. If they don't sell another ticket and there's 15,000 empty seats, they're going to make a ridiculous amount of money regardless.
Sure. But they're also going to look bad. And up to this point, they, I mean, when you and I sit here each week and go over AEW or India, and WWE and so forth, so on, we pick things apart. Me, because I've been in this business longer than you've been alive, and you, because you've been a fan most of your life, right, from childhood. It's at some point you can't keep up with the Joneses. At some point because so and so's what's concert. I know my friend Jim has not been to any concerts in the last 6 months because he concerted himself out financially a year ago, because I'm saying, you're going again? Yeah. He's a big Fish fan. And so he went to New York for a concert, went over to Mexico for a concert, and I thought, okay, but he's paying for it this year. He's staying home, So yeah, you and if you sell a bunch of tickets to this event in Vegas, how many of those people will not go to the next event or the one after that or the one after that, maybe?